I want to share a very critical, very, very important, very critical idea that I've discovered over the years in business. Is everybody familiar with central planning, the concept of central planning? Anyone know what that means? Okay. Well, central planning is a philosophical approach to running an economy. And a lot of countries have tried it, and it was very popular last century. And what governments thought is, well, if we plan everything and we control all of the resources, then everything will run efficiently. And it didn't really seem to work out because most of those economies eventually fell, went under, became bankrupt. And the ones that are still holding on and trying it are really experiencing a lot of problems. When you try to control something too much, the paradox is that it doesn't work. It's like taking a human and saying, I am going to control you and you are going to do it my way. There's something about that system that just says, I don't behave that way. I don't perform when I'm being controlled. And strong business people, especially people that come from big company backgrounds, in a lot of cases, want to do what I call planning the success. They want to plan the whole success as it's going to happen. And if you grow your company and you run into strong business people, you're going to have them ask you to plan out the success of the future and to tell them what's going to happen. How much are we going to sell a year from now? So we can allocate all these resources and create a budget for that. And you're going to turn to them and you're going to say, I have no idea how much we're going to sell in a year. And they're going to say, well, you have to know. That's the way they do it in big businesses. The difference, I want to kind of suggest a way of approaching this that is a great blend, I've found, or great balance. So instead of saying, here's the next step we're going to take, we're going to make this plan, we're going to take this step, and then we're going to take this step, and then we're going to take this one, and we're going to increase our results by this much, and then this next one we're going to take is also going to do that. And then if things aren't working, try to stick to the plan, because that's what's always blamed when things don't work out. Well, we didn't stick to the plan we made, and that's why it didn't work. Instead of doing that, say, okay, where do we want to go? What would have to be true to get there? What would have to work? And test something as fast as you can. Try to get some results from a test so that you can then model and project. And what I like to do is I like to set up my first system, paradoxically, with as few conditions as possible. I try to put as few as I can and still have it be successful. Why do I like to do that? Because I want to see how the people are going to behave. I want to see how the system's going to behave. I want to see what it will do all by itself. And if you do that, you'll learn a lot. If you try to control it too much and control every aspect of what's going to happen with something brand new that you've never done, you won't be able to see what's happening. You'll be too stuck in trying to plan all of your success. So with all of the people that are going to be saying to you in your future as you grow a successful company, we got to plan it. What's the next thing? And how much money are you going to make here? And I mean, only on Wall Street and in investment bank projections does the sales line always go up. It doesn't happen in the real world. Say, here's an idea. Let's test. We'll run this test. If the results are between here and here, then we've got a winner. You've got to test it. And that goes for everything. If you've got a new marketing campaign, do not spend a whole bunch of money on this marketing campaign and design and layout and getting all the placement right and then run it. Spend $200 and see if anyone calls. If no one calls, then don't blow the thing up. Things are probably not going to work big if they don't work small. One of the metaphors that I like to use is, I read in this great book, and Ralph on our team, who's in the back there, comes from Boston. He always uses this term. Anyone here from Boston? Yeah? You know how the streets of Boston were created? They paved over the cow paths. Right? So the road system, I read this in The Path of Least Resistance, great book. The cow paths in Boston follow the sensibilities of the average 17th, 16th century cow. And if you've ever been there and walked around and driven around, you can see what I'm talking about, right? They're just, it's a mess. Anyone ever been to Prague? Prague, it's close to Boston in terms of the roads, right? They probably did the same thing, I'll bet, in maybe around the same period, maybe 1,000 years earlier. Well, a farmer on our team was telling me about the University of Oregon. He and I both grew up in Oregon. And he was telling me a story about how at the U of O, back 100 years ago, some brilliant genius laid the whole campus out and put all the buildings to the campus, but didn't put down the sidewalks. And then let the students go, and then watch where they walked automatically, where they made their own paths, where it was natural to go from building to building. Who travels from what building to where, what paths naturally where. And then once the paths had created themselves, then they said, okay, now we know where to put the sidewalks. So they put the important conditions in place, and then they ran the system, and they saw what happened, and then they say, okay, this is the way things would naturally run. That's the way I like to do things. Try to put the important conditions in place and then set it up and stand back and see what happens, see how the people behave. One of my favorite things to do is to take a new person that's coming to work with the team and just turn them loose. Say, okay, here's someone you can talk to if you have questions, or me. Here's a project you can work on. Just let me know how it's going. It can be frustrating, it can be challenging to some people, but you really learn a lot about people in those moments. You get to see who they really are, how they're really behaving. People that come from environments where everything was figured out for them, here's your job description, here's your role, a lot of times those people can't function in an entrepreneurial, open-minded, fast-growth environment. They just don't know what to do, they shut down. A lot of times they thrive. A lot of times they show up, I'll tell you a story about Ralph tomorrow, but when Ralph showed up to our business, and I mean, there was no delay between when he showed up and the change. It was an instantaneous cultural shift that happened of organization. First time he sat down at a meeting, we used to sit down and we'd get together once in a while at, wherever, at a restaurant or somebody's house, and we'd try to gather together and talk. And he sat down and he said, who's taking the minutes for the meeting? And we all looked around like, uh-oh. Daddy just got home, I guess, huh? The fun police are in the house. And we got that stupid look on our face, and Ralph said, I'll do it. And he opened up his computer, and gently, but firmly, we would talk about something, and he'd say, okay, so what happened there? Is that a topic that's going to be ongoing? Is it something we just decided something on? And he'd write it down. And then the next time we got together, he opened up the computer, and he said, okay, well, there were a few things that were open that we were working on, so let's get some updates. And it was dramatic. It was incredible. Some people who are from those other environments, who have worked in those other environments, thrive because they can help take the best of what's been figured out in big business and incorporate it into your small business. So I recommend that you take those folks, give them a little bit of leeway, see what they can do, see how they perform. Okay, good. Look down at your list, look over the things you just learned about systems thinking. Hopefully that was the most difficult stuff that we're going to cover this program, the most challenging and complex and weird. Hopefully it was simple enough that you could understand it. Put a little star next to the thing that you can use. Maybe write a one-line action plan of something that you can take and use immediately. All right, quickly. Who had a big breakthrough aha today, a big realization of something they're going to be able to take back and make some money with? I mean, really, go make some serious money in their business. Raise your hand if you had a big breakthrough idea. Okay, good. Who had one that they'd be willing to share? Oh, whole different question, huh? You had one?
I learned about free stuff today, and that's what I'm going to do with my product, is to develop something that I can give away for free to generate interest. So that's my big aha. Thank you.
Good one.
Well, I think everyone here saw what my big breakthrough was it took you only a couple of minutes to demonstrate that I was looking through the wrong end of my telescope. I could see the small focus. I knew what I knew, but I couldn't see the big picture. And you turned my scope around. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Thanks, Ira.
And I can't even begin to list a lot of things that I learned today, from the mindsets to the techniques. But the two things that I think I walked away with in this program right now is, first is the hiring. Like, I've been hiring people that I like or that are like me, and within 30 days, true as you said, they end up not performing well to what my expectations are. So I learned that, and I probably think that's like $1 million lesson. Will save me a couple of years. And second thing I like is the diagram that was shown about the low potential, low performance and stuff. Is I've been focusing too much on the low performance and low potential, getting them to be becoming high performance and high potential, that I neglect the ones that are already performing well. And just that little shift in the way I see things, I think will make a big improvement.
Very good. Good. Thank you.
4 quick key takeaways. My name is Marlene Green. The first one is to only hire A people, stars. Don't compromise. That's huge. The second one is to have multiple teams running where you're not at the center. Really big for me. The next one is when you talked about having daily updates and the 3 questions to ask. That's just so simple. The other is hiring people who have corporate training, because they've been trained by the best already. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Marlene.
Hi there, Guy Morgan, San Diego. The big aha I think I got today had to do with the marketing, the advertising, and the communication with the customer. What struck me was the comment that you've got to lead the people to believe that they've discovered what you're going to share with them. That was a big one. That really made a big shift for me in the customer communication. I thought I kind of knew how to communicate and create action, but if you can let the people believe that they've discovered the answer to their pain or their problem, and maybe share with them sort of your experience and how you sought it out and discovered it, I think that's going to be very, very powerful.
Good one. Nice closer. Thank you very much, Guy.